Tawarin niyo ako kung medyo mabilis akong magsalita. Mana-mana lang. Alam niyo na yun. Looking at the testimony I have made me good. Looking back at how my life was while here at Phoebe's College of Bible makes me say I'm finally at my last semester. This 5-year program here at the school really pressed me so hard as I go through rough trainings in order for me to be polished and become a minister in the Lord in the future. I remembered when I was 4 years old back then, sa kabila, annex. In the bottom part of the house, yung bahay namin sa taas, sa baba nun, graduate studies office. And my dad usually took me with him. Then, in his office, there's a library with many books, theology books. And I claim that one day, this whole library will be mine as well. Now, I would say that I was overwhelmed reading all of these books. And you won't believe what I went through kakabasa ng mga librong iyon. But anyways, going back and looking back at what I said, it is a realization to me that studying is really not fun. But when you understand what the Lord is impressing to you, it slowly brings joy in your life. My life here at Phoebe's is kind of different because of expectations and pressures I have. And here, the verses I mentioned earlier na ni-recite na ni Jailin sa 2 Corinthians 12, 7 to 10 defines who Robert Scott Carag is now from his 5-year training here at Phoebe's. Paul here at 2 Corinthians first discussed about having a thorn in the flesh that hinders him from serving the Lord fully. He was pleading to get rid of it in order to maximize his potentials in the ministry. And this is the same story that I have, although let us not put it in the extent of Paul's thorn in the flesh. But rather, there are trials and circumstances I encountered while I am studying here at this wonderful institution. My Phoebe's life from the very start of my BBC is bombarded with many trials in life. As one friend said, I had a bad start here at Phoebe's. I thought college life will be like my high school life, an easy-go-lucky one. But that was not the case. I also thought because I grew at Phoebe's, life will be much easier for me. But I was wrong. Abiding by the dorm rules, maintaining relationships, complying with the requirements of the DSM, and maintaining good grades. These were used by God to develop progress in my life as I study here at Phoebe's. Little did I know that the status I have as a faculty kid will have a bearing with how I act inside. This is the first challenge I have. That I need to bear the pressure of being a faculty kid. Always on check on what I am doing. Careful so that people will talk less about me. There's a saying here that says, when you are a faculty kid, you are always in the middle. Lagi ka nasa gitna. When you do a good thing, they will say, anak ka naman ng presidente. Okay lang yan. Ginawa mo yung tama. But when you have done some kind of a wrong thing, they will say, ano ba yan? Anak ka pa naman ng presidente? life bearing that responsibility is really hard and difficult as I go through my studies here. I cannot avoid being compared with my father, but I took it as a challenge to show myself and to show that I am different than my father, and that was a big challenge. I was also challenged by coping to the standards of the school, especially in the dormitory. Sometimes I do question some rules, but in the end, I still follow them because I don't want people to say anything about me, and because it's for training's purpose. This is also one of the tests that I have undergone, setting my priorities right. I was labeled by people friendly, and carrying that every day in my life here for unattractive. I saw people continuously even now say things about me, and sometimes it just hurts me so much. I just stay quiet and let them be. These are the few things I deal when I started studying. Pressure that slowly eats me every day and makes me cry to the Lord every night, wishing, like Paul, to remove these trials in order for me to have a good and peaceful life. Pero hindi eh. Trials are really part of life. But you know what the best part is? That we can overcome struggles in life because of the grace of God. As we can see in 2 Corinthians 12:9, that even Paul, as we read the preceding verses, has a thorn in the flesh, but he still rejoices, for there is the promise of the Lord. That the grace sufficient for him, for his power is made perfect in weakness. The Lord does not give problems that we cannot handle. The grace of the Lord. Grace of the Lord. When I read this verse when I was BBC, I just neglected it. Grace, what is it? How does it work? I do not see it. Every time I plead the Lord to take away these hard things that I am going through, even I have that knowledge of grace, still, because of the trials I am facing, I do not trust it. But when I was in my sophomore year, when I was about to quit and say, I don't want here anymore, I don't want to serve the ministry anymore because it does nothing but pain in me. It came to a realization that one night when I was sitting in my bed, I just looked back on everything that the Lord has done for me. His provisions, my prayers that has been answered, how I live my life surviving every day, bearing these things. It brought me to tears that every time circumstances came, but the Lord continues to hold me and bring me out of that circumstance. In the days I doubted, the Lord pulled me out and reminded me that He's there, and I should not doubt His power, and deliver me from that. He delivered me from that. His grace is very evident in my life. That's why I love saying a thing or two about it. And as I slowly understand the meaning of grace, until now, it always brings me to tears. Knowing that there's a God whom every time I fall, I doubt, He pulls me up. Thus, grace becomes my favorite thing in the service of the Lord. Grace is what draws me in the loving presence of the Lord, and what tells me to continue fighting in the race of life that God has set before me. Waking up And knowing this at the start of the day makes me want to commune with God more. And that's why no trial in life has been laid waste. There's a quote na nakita ko sa internet. If God brought you to it, He will bring you through it. And that really encouraged me on rising up, even if there are trials. Loving what the Lord has done and surviving a day with a smile on my face, knowing God continues to bless my life, even I am not worthy. Christ is sufficient. Sufficiency means He is neither depleted nor excessive, but only right. And that should encourage us to rise up every morning. The sufficiency of Christ's grace. To do the work of the Lord also. For we know that we cannot conquer these trials that we have been facing, or the trials that were given to us, but only by the grace of God. God here brought out the good out of evil. And now as we see Paul, he's rejoicing because even in those trials, persecutions, great needs, distress, name it, he will take joy on it, for he knows that Christ is with him. He knows that because of him, when he is weak, then he is strong. He has that full dependence on God for his everyday life. And seeing it, reading it, encourages me on my daily walk with the Lord. This is also my encouragement to the whole Phoebe's family. This is the story I want to leave to you as I graduate. We saw how God worked His wonders on Paul, and I have seen it myself on God works wonders in my life. So be encouraged that in every trial, persecution, distress, there's a God who will pull you out of it, and will just hold you. For me, it is a relief, and I hope this will also give relief to you. Knowing that God's sufficient grace will bring you through until the end of the race. Many times, as you have seen earlier, I reminisce my previous life, and it is full of different trials. But as I reflect now, I overcame everything. Every trials that have been presented and gone through, all because of the grace of God. This grace and sufficiency is always right, and it will always bring back me to my knees, thanking the Lord for everything He has done. Just like what I said, if there is one thing that I have learned here on Phoebe's, is that really the grace of the Lord is sufficient in me, and that the promise of the Lord gave me made me trust Him more and more each day. It made me tell people that I am what I am now because of the Lord, and it made me want to share bits and pieces of what I learned to people. On this, as I continue to cling to the promises of the Lord, He continues to bless me with things and insights that every time I look back, I really enjoy reflecting on these aspects. God indeed blessed me with many things as I trust Him. He continues to provide for my needs until today, till this day. He gave me an ever-understanding family, friends, teachers, and colleagues in Christ. They're the ones whom the Lord used in my training here at this school. They're the ones who encouraged me and affirmed me as I undergo these hardships I faced. The Lord never failed to provide what I needed in times. Sometimes I think of myself as an undeserving individual receiving the blessings of the Lord. And without these influential people, I think I will fail to understand the great joys of serving the ministry and studying God's Word. People like my batchmates who never fail to understand. My mentors, whom although they are not all here, serve as my guide and my light as I walk with the Lord. My teachers, who taught me how to live according to the Word. And anchoring myself in the Scriptures. My ISM group that I will miss really when we graduate. My friends and accountability partners. Kilala niyo na kung sino kayo. You have been my outlet and my co-competitors. And my family, especially my mom and dad, who always includes me in their prayers and supported me in my endeavors here at PBS. They are the ones whom, when I doubted my calling, encouraged and let me feel the joy of serving and brought me back up on track. The Lord, really, when you trust Him, He will not let that trust fail. And He will continue to work in your life by bringing important people and insights that you cannot imagine. So my fellow brothers and sisters in the Lord, we should remember that every time we go on our Christian lives, we will surely encounter problems. PBS life is hard when you think that you won't have any problems that you will encounter here, especially with yourself. But let this be a reminder to everyone. Look back. Look back at the past and see how the Lord furnished you as you go through your stay here. And let that be an encouragement to you that you have overcome the problems that the Lord has given you. And He changed also your perspective on life by just facing a single individual problem. Don't be afraid on facing them, because the Lord's promise will always be true. That His grace is sufficient, and He will be your strength when you are weak, and He will carry you from it. I am what I am now because of the grace of the Lord and the guidance of those who became faithful before me. Trust the Lord and His promises. He will never fail you. He will always be there to pick you up. May the Lord bless you as He has blessed me.